What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Happy Wednesday. Excited to be with everybody here. Welcome to YouTube for Real Estate Agents. Today, it's going to be a stripped down version of this, but I'm excited to share with you guys how to set up your channels correctly. We're also going to talk a little bit about naming. We're not going to get too far in the weeds in there because we have a whole nother training set aside for you guys, actually almost like workshop style. So you can work through that depending on what you're trying to accomplish, who your ideal client is. So Eric and I are excited to share that with you in the future. And if we've never met before, my name is Juan Alcala, and along with my business partner here, Eric Meldrum, we are co-team leads with the True Living Group. We also have two real estate channels, specifically on YouTube, living in Tampa, Florida. And Eric, what's the name of your channel, my friend?
True Living Michigan.
There you go, True Living Michigan. So happy to share this with you guys today. And this is one of the most requested trainings that I haven't seen a whole lot of people do this. You can find setups on YouTube, but setting up specifically for real estate, I haven't seen that yet. So we're excited to do this. Understand, I don't have slides today. We're literally going to walk you through the back end of our channel. And then also we probably are going to build one in real time just so you can see how to kind of go through it. I don't know that I'll do the whole build out there, but we'll see how today goes. Feel free to bring your questions. Okay. And if you're joining us on YouTube, if you're part of our community here, we would love to have you guys. Feel free to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button as well. I hate to ask for all the call to action stuff, but ultimately we're here to serve. What I want you to understand about today is there's nothing to sell you at the end of this. We are going to give you an invite to our school community, but this is completely free. Okay, so there's no paywall to get in that community. All the trainings that we do here and supplemental materials like PDFs and those types of things, that step-by-step workshop kind of stuff is going to live in that school community. Okay, so it's something that I feel called to do. My partner and I believe that YouTube can change your life like it has ours. And if you're wondering why we're sitting in front of you, well, we're blessed enough to have run these channels for the last 3.5 years and have grossed over $1.2 million in commissions from these channels specifically. So as a single lead source, and we're excited to share this with you guys. And that's not to brag, just want to let you know that we do have some fruit on the tree. We don't claim to be the biggest, the baddest. And as a matter of fact, I don't claim to be anybody's guru. That's not what I'm here to do, but I am a teacher at heart and I'm happy to share this with you. So Eric, did I leave anything out there?
No, covered it all. we just want to share, what we know, because like Juan said, it's changed our lives. And so many people ask us like, how do you do it? How do you do it? How do you do it? So we pushed ourselves into the point of showing you exactly what we're going to do. Like there's literally no gatekeeping at all. This is work, right? But understand that we get to choose our hard, and what we do in life. And, you could cold call, you can door knock, you can do all the traditional real estate lead generation activities. And some of those, may work for you and your personality. Some people absolutely despise, all those things. And YouTube is another lead generation platform that allows you to multiply your time. And that's the cool thing about this is like, we can get into some more of the specifics and the longevity, but like when you look at this as an asset to your business and you start treating it like an asset that is going to live on even beyond you, there's some really cool things that I think you guys are really going to love about YouTube and really start embracing it to grow your business. So let's dive in, man.
Yeah, that's great. And I just want to say hello to everybody joining us who's, making comments in the chat. Also, feel free to bring your questions. If you want to hold those till later, I think that might be helpful, but don't hesitate as a best practice for yourself to bookmark that, meaning like go ahead and put the question in, but just that way you can come back to it later if we need to. All right, we'll try to get to all the questions that we possibly can. Good evening, or I'm sorry, good afternoon, Megan. I know it's early here. Hello, Maria. We got Giselle in the house. Karen's with us as well. Shout out to you, Karen. Oh my goodness, this is going fast. Jennifer, and y'all, forgive me. We probably won't go through every one of those mistakes. Marta, good afternoon. What's up, Denise? My peeps. We got Otis in the house. Joy. Good morning, good afternoon. Happy to be with you guys, and I'm excited to get into this stuff. Okay, so we'll get into this. Here's what I do want to share with you. I'm probably not going to go through analytics or why YouTube every time. we have a training that we just did 2 weeks ago about why YouTube and how we use it. Okay, exactly our framework that we use to acquire clients and to convert that money into closed sales. So get in that group. That is the best way to do it. Watch that training and it'll bring you up to speed. This is step one for if you don't have a YouTube channel, or you might already have one, but maybe it's not optimized. It's not set up properly on the back end. And that's what we want to show people. Because again, this is one of the most requested things about like, how do I set it up properly? So I'm going to show you two different angles here. I'm going to show you the front facing, which is what your audience will see. And then we're going to show you the back end of YouTube and how to make these adjustments. Okay. Will that be helpful? You guys let me know, put yes in the chat. And again, wherever you're watching from, hit that thumbs up. That will push this out to more people and let YouTube know that this is valuable. I'm teaching you guys the right way. Okay. So when you do your live streams, make sure you ask for those likes because it does push it further out, pulls more people to you ultimately. So let's make sure that we're doing best practices across the board here. Okay, cool. So let's get into this. Let's start with the front end of the channel, Eric, and talk about what this looks like from a viewer's perspective. Okay, so now I'm on the front end of YouTube. I use dark mode. So if it looks different to you, that's why, forgive me. It's easier for me to read. I've got old eyes, so I like when the font pops off. But you can set this up either way you like. But the first thing I want you to recognize is we have a channel banner and a channel icon. Okay, those are the two things you see in play here. So our channel banner is what we have at the top. You are free to put whatever you want up in there. What we're not going to get into is like graphics and branding today, but you most likely, as a real estate professional, have some sort of personal brand. My strong encouragement here is that channel banner aligns with that personal brand. That way, when somebody discovers you on YouTube and then they go over to your website, they're not looking at two different things or walking into two different storefronts that feel different, if that makes sense. Okay, so the first thing I would encourage you to do is have congruency. So whatever your headshot is on your business card or your website, that's probably a really good idea to put that on your YouTube channel. It doesn't have to be the same. Eric's isn't. Okay. However, it is a best practice. And again, I'm always looking to validate who I am as a real estate professional everywhere somebody goes. So if you go to my Instagram, if you go to my TikTok, if you go to my Facebook, if you go to our website, you're going to find that headshot is the one that matches all of those channel brands. Okay, that way it feels congruent with anybody who discovers me, which is the goal here. Okay, the next thing I have on here is what they can expect to get from the channel when they're on this, right? They can expect new videos from me each week. I ask for a subscription there. Go ahead and subscribe. And what they're going to get out of that if they subscribe. Subscribe to learn more about living in Tampa, Florida. That is the channel brand. It's not exclusive. I do believe I'm the only one in Tampa. Yeah, I believe I'm the only one in Tampa that has the living in Tampa, Florida, but there's living in Tampa FL and Tampa, Florida living. And like it's not exclusive to me. And I just want to make sure that you guys understand that. But underneath that, they obviously they can see your subscriptions. I do believe you can hide that. They may have taken that feature away, but we'll get into that later. How many subscribers you have, how many videos you have, it's already on there. And then underneath that, it has the more section. But the big thing that they can see right away is I have a call to action. Let's connect in person and on Zoom. And you can see that link directly underneath there. So like they know right out of the rip, if they want to connect with me, you can do it right here. Okay. And then when they click on the more, that gives them all the nitty gritty in the about section, which I'll show you guys on the back end. Okay. Underneath that, there is a featured video. Now that video is going to be different, whether it's going to be different depending on whether you are a subscriber or a new viewer. Okay. Unsubscribed. There's two different videos there. Okay. And that's done on purpose. And we'll show you on the back end also. Underneath that, you have sections. Okay. So these rows that you see under here for you, popular videos, past live streams and videos, those are all sections that you have control over on the back end of YouTube, which we're going to show you today. Okay. And we've set this up with the idea of best practices. Notice that you do not see shorts on here. Okay. It's not that I don't have them, but I don't focus on it. So that's the first thing. I just want to address the elephant in the room. And number two, I do not want anybody who lands on my channel spending 13 seconds with me when they average over 7 minutes, close to 8? Why would I ever tell somebody, hey, go check out 8 seconds of my content versus stay with me for almost 8 minutes? That's silly, right? Why would you ever want to do that? Now, there's an argument for shorts. There's an argument for a second channel. We're not going to get into that today. I just want you, I'm always going to show you what I do. Okay. You can go look at other channels, model what they're doing, funnel hack that if you will, and that is totally fine. But what I do works for me. And why would I try to teach something that I don't understand? And what I know is that shorts do not perform. Most importantly, they do not build relationships the way that long form content does. So that's the reason why you don't see that on my homepage here. Okay. So it's really that simple. That's the front end, meaning this is what a viewer is going to see, or in our world, hopefully a potential client, correct? That's the goal, right? So that is what our focus is. And the big thing is I want to make sure that everybody understands why we set things up the way we do. Okay. Eric's got a little bit different branding here. So let's do that. Let's pull that up specifically. Give me 1 second here. And then we'll pull Eric's channel because I think that that'll be valuable to see just a different perspective on that in general. And Eric, let's talk a minute while I'm digging this up, why you decided to go the way that you went with your channel banner.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it really boils down to, the things that speak to you and your personality. Because the great thing about YouTube is people are going to subscribe and watch your videos and reach out because of you. All right. And what I've seen, a lot of creators do, in the space is try to model like going to Juan's channel or another creator's channel and literally doing the exact same thing. Right. Which doesn't help you stand out, amongst anybody, in the space. And now more than ever, we're starting to get more and we're encouraging, right? Like this is something that, we're actively saying, hey, look, go start a YouTube channel. I don't care if you're in Detroit. I don't care if you're in Tampa, go start a YouTube channel, because the people that are going to reach out to you are not the people that potentially would reach out to me, right? They're not my people. So I put a little bit different spin on it, right? I use a different headshot, but the principles are the same, right? Principles are the same. We want to call people to action in the banner, right? What to expect.
Yep.
Right. So if you go back and look at Juan's banner compared to mine, the principles are still the same. It's just a different layout, right? Different colors, different background, different headshot, right? But it says the same thing. New videos each week. Subscribe to learn more about living in Michigan, right? Juan says the same thing. New videos each week. Subscribe to learn more about living in Tampa or living in Florida.
Yep. And as you can see here, right, there's something that's iconic in the background for the area. So Eric lives close to the Ann Arbor area there. So everybody can understand when it comes to the block N, the block M automatically means Michigan. Everybody in the United States knows that. So that's easily recognizable. He's got a map where it shows people going, flying and driving in a moving truck on there, an icon of the United States on the left-hand side there. Underneath there, he's got the areas called out specifically that he serves. So Ann Arbor, Brighton, Canton, Novi, Royal Oak. The people who are interested in those areas are going to recognize that. And again, what can you expect? Think of this just like a newspaper. This is the above the fold section. Okay. And for those of you who aren't familiar with that term, and aren't familiar with newspapers, they are these paper relics that they used to fold in half. Well, they roll them up and they would throw them either at the end of your driveway or put them on your stoop, which is a porch for us old folks. And I'm poking fun right now, right? But
I delivered those. I know all about them.
But they used to fold them in half. And that's where the term above the fold came from, because whatever the headline was, the most important thing that the publisher and the editor of the newspaper wanted you to know, that needed to be above the fold, because when it sat on the newsstand, that's all you saw. And when somebody arrives at your channel, what do you want them to know about you? Don't get cute. You don't have to get crazy busy with words. You don't have to have a whole bunch of stuff on here. What does it say? Oh, okay. So that's Michigan. This channel's about living in Michigan. Okay, cool. If I subscribe, I'm going to get new videos. Awesome. My brain doesn't have to work hard. Right. And there's that old, is it Pitch Anything where they talk about the croc brain, Eric? I know I'm going tangent here, but like, if we have to work to try to figure out what it is, we're gone. That's what human beings do. You don't have to work to figure out what Eric is doing here. He's making new videos about living in Michigan. Done. Okay, cool. Thank you, Eric. I appreciate that. Let me check out what you got, and then maybe we can agree to a subscription.
Yeah, this is the discovery part, right? So, you know, your banner is not going to be the front runner of like how people land on your channel, right?
Yep.
Don't get confused with this being the first place people see it. How they're going to arrive here is you've made a video that is captivating enough for them to watch. In the video, you've had some call to actions. Hey, go back to the channel, you know, get in contact with us. And now people are just curious, right? Who's Eric? Who's Juan? What are they about? Right? That's our natural tendency. If anybody's you know, met somebody for the first time, what do? Well, I'm going to go check out their LinkedIn profile. I'm going to go check out their Instagram, right? I'm going to go check out some of their socials and see what they're about. This is a way, you know, for them to now see the congruency and see what you're about on the channel, right? Yep. This is the due diligence part. Now, when you're creating your banner, there is a template. If you Google YouTube channel art banner, okay, you can get a Canva template or something, because on desktop, that banner is going to show full length. When you look at it on mobile, the left side and the right side are actually trimmed off. Okay, so if you go back to your channel for a second. So that white space and just right of like EXP, that doesn't show up on mobile.
Yep.
Okay, so there's a reason everything's kind of smushed into the middle, because it's optimized for mobile. Okay, so if you're designing it on your own, keep that in mind. If you hire a designer, make sure they have that, you know, framework and that template. They should know. You know, if you're working with our team, they already know that. Yep. That's standard operating procedure.
Yeah. So, and the sizes are right in here. So let's start with where we are right now. So when you go into your YouTube, you're going to go into what's known as the YouTube Studio. Okay. You can be on your channel, which you can click that. You see it on the right-hand side up in the corner here. Underneath that, it'll take you directly back to YouTube. Or if you have multiple accounts, you can switch through here. But what I am in right now is what's known as YouTube Studio. So when you start a YouTube account, this is where you have to go. Now, on the left side, the column on the left where it shows your icon, again, that'll take you to YouTube as well if you want to do that. It'll take you to your dashboard, your content, your analytics, the community. You can mess with your subtitles here, any copyright disputes. That's a whole nother conversation. We're not getting at. That's advanced. Shouldn't have any. Monetization when you get to that point. That's what it's talking about here. But customization, this button right here, this is the one you want to press to get to this screen. And this screen will allow you to change or remove that banner. It also tells you what size that banner needs to be, both in the pixel size and the file size. So it can't be more than 28 by 40, 2048 by 1152, and can't be more than 6 megabytes. So again, that's in the weeds a little bit, but if you're having a problem uploading, YouTube's great enough. It'll tell you file's too big, just FYI. Okay. And again, use a thumbnail that is easily recognizable for either, right? Your icon here, for either what your channel is about or for you. Again, YouTube is a personal brand. Unless you're building a team account, which that's a whole nother conversation that we need to have in advanced strategies. My encouragement is that your face is included in here. Okay, that is a strong encouragement when it comes to a relationship-based business in real estate. Okay, underneath that, the name of the channel. All right, ours is Living in Tampa, Florida. Right. So Eric's is True Living Michigan. You can change this, but what I'm encouraging you to do is make sure that you get what you want the first time. You don't want to be going back and forth. That starts confusing Google about who you are and what it is you're about. So set it and forget it. And I want to make one last note on the naming thing before we move forward. I just need you to know that this is not the most important thing. And most of you will get stuck here. And I know that because I've talked to people who wanted to start a YouTube channel forever, and they start asking questions about what to name your channel. Okay. Some of the largest real estate channels in YouTube are named after the creator. Okay. They're named after the creator. Now I want to pause here for effect. The Living in Tampa, Florida. Okay. 3.5 years ago or 4 years ago, it was 4 years ago when I grabbed the name here, YouTube was acting different. It was more searched based. Okay. And with the TikTokification of content, YouTube has become more content interest based. All right. Meaning that if you make content about living in Tampa, Florida, and you say it during your content, or living in wherever, or hey, I serve X, Y, or Z, the machine hears it, it documents it, and it knows who is watching videos about that. And it pulls viewers to you. YouTube is no longer pushing things out based upon SEO only. There is value in SEO. I want you to understand that, but it is not the most important thing when it comes to YouTube. The quality of the content, right? And the context. Is the context what the consumer, what your viewer is actually watching? If that's what it is, you can name your channel El Segundo State. And as long as the content is what the viewer is looking for, it won't matter. Okay, so if you want to name your channel Megan Luker sells Virginia Beach, great. You don't have to have the Virginia Beach thing. Okay, but she can. I've not seen it, but you could do that. If she wants to just call her channel Megan Luker, God bless her. I'm here to tell you right now, if you go look at someone like Ken Posick, who has one of the biggest brands on YouTube in real estate, over 50,000 subscribers, and it's named after Ken. I assure you, people were not searching Ken Posick when he started. Okay. So don't get lost in the weeds on the naming. Okay. Underneath that, YouTube will give you a handle. That handle will typically have something related to your channel name. So keep that in mind. So if your alignment across all channels is at Megan Luker, you see how important this is? That's where those tie-ins start to become extremely valuable. Okay. So keep your eye on that. If you want to add a pronoun, you can. Underneath here, the description. Now, the description is what we showed you. It's at the top over here. Okay. When they're coming down the channel here and they click the more, the description, that is exactly what I just showed you there. All right. In your description, think of it above the fold. That very first sentence, because you only get about, I think it's 60 characters or something that will actually show up on that screen over here. So let's go back to this. You can see it, right? I got 4 emojis, 6 words there, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 words. That's all you get. So whatever you're putting there, it needs to be extremely impactful. So just make sure that whatever you're putting at the very front end of this, again, think above the fold. What do you want the viewer to do? And in real estate, y'all, let's go back to the principles of what we teach here, which is we need to get people to watch. We need to keep them watching. And what's number 3? We need to get them to reach out. Everything we do is pointed towards getting them to reach out to us. We're trying to drive appointments, right? That's what we have control over. Okay. I don't want them to go to my website. I don't care about any of that crap. You don't see my phone number is buried, right? When they're on that front end of that, the only thing they see is schedule, like, let's get on a Zoom call, click the button. Let's get on a Zoom call, click the button. Yeah, they can get in there and find all the rest of the stuff. But above the fold, I want you to schedule an appointment with me, Mr. View. If you're considering moving here or you're considering selling, this is the only thing I want you to do. All right. I'm hitting that hard for a reason because that's important. So when you're in the description, make sure that you're filling that out. Make sure that that first line, the first 12 words is the most important thing you got. All right. Underneath there, you're going to have a channel URL. YouTube will populate that. That's not something you create. You don't get to make your own magic URL there. Okay. Underneath that, you get to put those links. So that link that you saw that says bit.ly, bit.ly living in Tampa, which let's show you where it takes them. So that takes them to our website, but it takes them to schedule a call with us. That's what it says right here, right? Schedule your Tampa real estate consultation below. You can send them to Calendly direct. We did that for almost 2 years. Okay. You can, wherever your calendar is, whatever your inbound is, that's where you want them to go. When they show up here, let's connect in person, schedule your Tampa real estate consultation below. Now they get into the answering of the questions. We have a few questions. We're not going to get in the weeds in this. We'll show you how to set this up on a different training. Eric's going to get into automations, scheduling, those types of things. We're going to give that to you in the community. Okay. So if you're not with us on school, make sure you join us over there, but just kind of walking you through the principles. Okay. Let's get back to where we were. So that link is that bit.ly link. You can add more. My encouragement is do not. What do you want them to do? All right. If you want them to only follow you on Instagram, only have one link to follow you on Instagram. I don't think that's going to drive nearly as appointments as you'd like, but don't ever ask anybody to do more than one thing. Okay. That's a call to action. One single call to action, because a confused mind always says no. All right. Just remember that. A confused mind always says no. Somebody much smarter than me said that, by the way. That's not a Juanism. All right. Email. I do have our email in here. All right. This email is specific to our YouTube channel. If we get an info email, it's one of two things. It's either a client who didn't schedule an appointment, but we're going to work to drive them back towards that, or somebody spamming us because they see our YouTube channel. That's really how it boils down to at this point, right, Eric?
Yep.
And then lastly, you can put a video watermark in here. Okay. This will allow the subscriber, or I'm sorry, the viewer to subscribe at any time by clicking that spot on a video. Ours is running the entire time. I know that there are creators who don't do it at all. There are creators that do it at specific times. For us, we just leave it as all the time. Okay. I want to make it as easy as possible. One of the founding principles that we have in our content club is that you are convenient. Okay. Convenient means, how can I get hold of this person? However I can get into their world, I need to. Okay. Hopefully that's helpful. Okay. So that is under the profile tab, which is the first tab in that top row. The second row is that home tab. Okay. And this home tab is what allows us to change the look and feel of our homepage. Okay. Again, so do I want a video for a returning or a new viewer? Separate videos. Do I want the For You section first, or do I want the most popular videos first? This is all things that are important to keep people coming back and binge watching your content, because here's what I need you to know. Anybody who watches one video is most likely not going to be your client. But people who binge watch your videos are going to become your client one day. When that day is, I don't know. None of us have control over that. But we just had a Zoom call with somebody who's been watching our channel for 3 years. 3 years, right? Which is fascinating when you think about that. I'm going to show a property this week on somebody who reached out to me in the first two, the spring of 22. So actually, after we just started getting reach outs, that's a long time from now, right? We're almost going into 3 years again. So keep that in mind. But do you want popular videos? Do you want to put your live streams up here? Live streams will get into a different section there. And then all of your videos. You can set this up the way you want it to. And that happens, again, back on this home tab. So you come in here. If you switch it off, all of that, YouTube handles it. If you turn it on, you get control. Okay. So we're in here. If I want to change or add a section, I can. So here's the channel trailer for people who haven't subscribed. They're going to get that video. That video just hit 200,000 views. And this is a huge part of it because it lives here for all new people to see. Okay. The feature video for people returning. Okay. So that's another video that we have on there. So again, are they subscribed or are they not? They're going to get a different feel when they come onto our channel. Okay. Here's the For You. So here's those sections, right? And on the right-hand side, you can remove a section, or again, up top, you can just add a section. So if I want to add a section, YouTube asks me what section I would like to add. All right. And down here is where you can move all those tiles. So here's an example again. So if I want to take the videos and put them above popular, I just simple move, drop, drag and drop. YouTube's awesome like that. Okay. Pull it back. And nothing happens unless you publish it, FYI. Okay. So that's the first place we want you to start. So again, to do a quick recap, come in and do your customization of the channel first. Once you get your channel, you're going to do the naming of the channel, do your description, set up where you want the subscribe button, or if you want it at all, you do all that there, and then come over to the home tab, and then you can make the section feel however you want. Okay. Again, best practices, most popular videos at the top. Why? Because just like Amazon, we all want the 5-star experience. Right? Eric, is that fair?
100%.
Right? Want a 5-star experience. And if this is what most people find most valuable, I most likely will also. Right? So that is why we do that. All right, just so everybody understands. Okay, cool. If everybody's on the same page, let's give a thumbs up. Yes, ready to roll. I know we're moving fairly quickly here, but I want to get you guys through everything. The reason we're putting this on YouTube and documenting it this way is so you can go back and set it up accordingly. Okay, at any point, you guys will just be able to go back and do this. And again, I'm actually gonna have a breakdown with supplemental materials inside of the school group, for those of you wondering. And if you guys want to join us over on school, you can do that here. All you guys got to do is pull out your phone, do a little screenshot, and that'll take you right over to the school community. Again, it's free, not asking for anything. So we want to give that to you guys as a gift. So you can definitely take advantage of that. Okay, cool. Let's get back to work over here. All right. So we are in our customization here on the left-hand side. Below that, Eric, can you move the screen up so they can see it? Below that, under customization, you've got creator music. That's a newer feature that YouTube has. Underneath that, you have settings. And this is the next step that you're going to roll into here. Okay. So now that we've come into settings, here's where you can mess with a lot of stuff. Okay. But I want to give you the nitty gritty on what is important for you to actually use and set up. And again, we're trying to set up our channel correctly. So we're going to get into what is important over here. All right. So on general, it's going to ask you the default units. If you're in a different country, you're watching this in a different country, then set it up for whatever, money you use, whether it's pesos or, Philippines or whatever. So you guys set that up accordingly. I'm in the US. For us, the next thing you're going to go in here is channel. Okay. Now I'm a resident of the United States. We're in basic info, as you can see here on this top row, next row, resident of the United States. Underneath this, we have keywords. Now, I just got done telling you the keywords weren't the most important thing, but if you heard me all the way through, you also heard me say that there was still weight and there is still value. Okay. So for us, we do have keywords about the channel. Okay. And this is our signal to YouTube that, hey, these are the types of viewers that we believe that this channel is most valuable for. And you can come in here and put keywords to your heart's desire. What I want to encourage you to do is make sure that you're staying focused on your ideal client. Okay. I don't have anything in here about commercial real estate. I don't have anything in here about renting. Hopefully you guys noticed that, right? My channel is designed to serve. My ideal client is someone who gets to move, who doesn't necessarily have to. They are making lifestyle choices, not just housing decisions. So these keywords that we have in place are wrapped around that in mind. Okay. So when you see these keywords, that's what they're talking about. So Tampa, Florida, Tampa, living in Tampa, Florida, moving to Tampa, Florida, living in Tampa, Florida, moving to Florida. You can see it over and over and over again. Living in Tampa Bay, things to do in Tampa Bay, best suburbs, yada, yada, yada. You guys get the point, right? If you're strictly focusing on sellers, don't put moving to Tampa Bay, moving to X. You want to think strictly homeowner thoughts, right? And here's the other thing. If you do if you try to put two categories on one channel, you're going to confuse the viewer. You're making this video for one person, and that person is your ideal client. You're making the channel for one person, and that person is your ideal client. And as soon as you deviate from that plan, your channel will not perform the way that you expect it to, because the machine keeps pulling different people back to you and you keep giving them different signals. So keep that in mind. And that's what this is. This is a signal to the machine of these. This is an ideal representation of the person I'm trying to serve. Hopefully that helps. All right. Now, advanced settings. Let's get into this. The audience. Do you want to set your channel as made for kids? No. Okay. Why? Children can't purchase real estate or sell real estate legally. That makes sense? I don't need to show up in the Roblox or Minecraft playlist. It's not my ideal client, just so everybody is aware. And also, I don't ever want to be in a situation where our content is flagged for something inappropriate. Not that I ever do that on my channel, but you never know. Parents get weird about weird things. And I don't want to play in that world. I don't want to be involved in that world at all. We can't sell real estate there legally. Why bother? Just go ahead and set that to the side. That makes sense? Okay. Google Ads account linking. Now, only let linked accounts use this channel video as ads. You can do that. We're not going to get too far in the weeds on this today. On ads, I'm just going to go ahead and set that aside. There's something I want you to take note of as we work through this. Okay. Automatic captions. Don't show potentially inappropriate words. Okay. So if you, for whatever reason, are liberal with your tongue, and there are people who cuss on YouTube, right? Joe Rogan's a good example. It happens. But again, I'm not trying to offend anyone with my words. All right. So I always try to do my best. I don't know that I've ever cussed on YouTube. But either way, I don't want it to show up in text format. So if, for heaven forbid, I make that mistake, or you do, and you send it off to an editor and they send it back in and you said the F word for accident, and for whatever reason, they forgot to cut that out. What you don't want it doing is showing up in closed captions. All right. That also indexes it in YouTube. And that's probably too far in the weeds there. So let me back up. Just, I don't do that. So we don't need any appropriate words there. And you're going to see this multiple times on the channel. Disable interest-based ads. Now, if you do that and you're monetized, you're going to lose revenue. So we don't do that. We don't disable ads. You can, but we don't. All right. Clips. Allow viewers to clip my content. Okay. Allow viewers to clip my content. Now, why would we want to do that, y'all? Why would we want to do that? Clips can be up to, I think, 2 minutes now. They're at least 60 seconds for sure. And somebody can go in and get a snippet of your content on YouTube and literally share that out. Don't we think that's something that could be valuable? What if someone knows that their friend is considering moving to Tampa, Florida, as an example? And you go, well, they see a really cool video and we're talking about a neighborhood specifically that person knows that person wants to move to. Hey, did you see this? Oh, all of a sudden you got a new viewer and you start to build a relationship. We sold one family 3 houses. The original couple, the brother and sister, and the parents. And that happened because of that exact thing that I just shared with you. Really cool experience. Really cool experience. So I would encourage you to allow clips. Okay. Feature eligibility. This will automatically populate for you when it's available. You get different, YouTube starts giving you different types of analytics and different features based upon the amount of subscribers. So I don't know if this is going to be all available to you right now. I can just show you how we have it set up. We may have more stuff in the future. They're changing stuff all the time, but you can manage access to the features in this screen right here, right? So standard features, the ability to upload videos, create playlists, and work with collaborators. We have that enabled. Intermediate features, videos over 15 minutes, custom thumbnails and streaming. Of course, we have that enabled. We have 30-minute, 40-minute videos on the channel. Advanced features, increased daily video uploads and live streams, right? Like at some point, YouTube allows you to go live. I don't know that it does at first. Well, it didn't when we set up our channel. So forgive me for not knowing that today. But I do believe you have to have a certain amount of subscribers. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments later. Okay, because I don't want to give anybody any misguidance on that. But when we started our channels, it wasn't available till we had a certain amount of subscribers. And I believe it was 500 at that point. But again, don't quote me on that. All right, so we went through general, we went through channel. Now we're going to go into upload defaults. And you'll see across the top on that top row, again, we've got basic, advanced, and monetization. We're going to go through those. On basic, I don't have a set title that I want to be out there for every single video. You might. If you run a podcast channel specifically, you can set it and forget it, right? It's the blank blank show. Maybe you don't do episodes or whatever. It'll literally set that for you and run it every single time, okay? Which is awesome. Behind that, you've got description. So you can put the description you want in here and add that as a default as well. So you can see that there. And in here, we've got all kinds of stuff. So we've got, if you're considering buying or selling and investing in the Tampa Bay area, we'd love to be your real estate team of choice. Schedule a time to meet with the team here. Now, notice what I did again. I didn't say call, text, or email. I said schedule a time. I want them to schedule an appointment, right? Yeah, here's my phone number. Here's my email, all that other stuff. Here's the link again. But I want you to schedule an appointment, okay? Underneath that, we want it public visibly. And down here, you see tags again. So the first tags were to the machine telling YouTube who the ideal viewer most likely was. What are they interested in? This one is going to be a default for every video. For every video. I may remove half of this depending on what the video I make is, but I try to give myself a head start. We're going to be talking about Tampa. I can guarantee you that. We're going to be talking about Tampa, Florida. We're going to be talking about Tampa real estate. So I already know those kind of fit in the bucket, and then we'll make negotiations based around that, right? Depending on the type of video it is. Okay. Next, advanced settings. Okay. Automatic chapters. Y'all, do yourself a favor. Put chapters in there automatically. Now, we put them in manually, but if you forget for whatever reason, and we're not going to teach you how to do that today, that'll be a different training. That's advanced. YouTube will automatically do this for you. Okay. It won't be perfect, but it'll do it for you. And this is important because it allows people to come in, and if you're talking about a specific topic and you've given them some sense of, hey, today we're going to talk about X, Y, and Z, and they don't want to talk about X, rather than leaving your channel because they don't know when Y and Z is going to come, they can just skip past X and go watch Y and Z, which is the most important thing to them. Y'all see how valuable that is? Unlike social media, where they don't know where you're going to go with that stuff and have no control over it. And YouTube, they can say, okay, well, I don't want to watch the property tour that you put in here, Eric, but I really would love to know about the rest of the community. Okay, great. It's have it your way, the old BK commercials, right? So that's what you're doing there. Okay, here's the other thing. People ask about this all the time because there is no real estate category. The license, all right? So Creative Commons attribution, that's how we have it set up. You can do a standard licensing. I'm not going to get in the weeds in there. We have that set up because it allows our stuff to get shared. We want more shareability. That is an important phase for us. So we made that decision. Our category, this is the one that people ask about all the time. Our category, people and blogs. That's what we decided on. Why? I'm a person. Okay. I don't need to be locked into like business training or development. That's not who I'm trying to target. I'm here to serve people. Right. And it's a very broad spectrum here, but because real estate doesn't exist, this is the best category. And honestly, I don't know if I set up a new channel, even if real estate was available, if I would do that. I would test it, to be honest with you, but I think that this is the best category for what it is that we do, right? I sell lifestyle. Real estate so happens to be the vehicle that does it. Hopefully that's helpful. Okay. Underneath there, make sure you put your language. Caption certification, we have none. English title and description language, we have English there. Title and description language. Underneath there, we have comments on. You can turn them off. Y'all, engagement helps your videos grow. Even the negative stuff. Okay. Don't be afraid of trolls. They're not making videos. You are. And you're not making videos for trolls. You're making video for who? Your ideal client. Okay. So don't ever forget that. Show how many viewers like the video. You can turn that on or off. I have it on. You know, I don't care whether people believe it's negative or not. I'm making a video for one person, and I know I made the right video for that person because I focus on building content for my ideal client, right? Monetization, when you get to the point where you're able to receive AdSense or ad revenue from YouTube, right? It's going to let you know, hey, you're now qualified. You've got the specific amount of watch hours that are required. You've got the specific amount of subscribers that are required. If you want to monetize, you have to fill out some paperwork. You got to give them either EIN or social. There's all kinds of stuff involved in it, but you have to turn it on. Okay. And the ads preference, here's what you need to know. All right. You can do it manually, but I let YouTube do its work there. I'm not smarter than YouTube. YouTube's smarter than Eric and I. Isn't that fair to say, Eric?
100%.
Right? It knows how long or who will watch commercials or bump off their platform in front of them, and it works very hard to do a good job. And we get paid. We get a portion of that ad revenue gets paid back to you as a creator. So keep that in mind. So we leave that on. Okay. Now getting into the ad categories, you can block specific links. Now this is cool. I love this feature, Eric. We don't use it at all, but I want to give you an example. If there was another channel in Tampa that was running paid advertisements, they could literally run a paid advertisement over top of my channel. I don't know if you guys know that or not, right? And if I know that, I can go grab that URL that they're pointing people to, and I can block it, which is pretty cool. So if you ever see that, now you know how to handle it. Okay, sensitive categories. YouTube has this thing where they're able to do this. Honestly, I haven't touched any of this. Whatever's in here, YouTube has done. Okay, because this is a newer feature to me. But in here, there's no alcohol ads. There was something else in here too. No gambling ads, but all the rest of the advertisement categories it allows to show on my channel. Okay, now will it show every one of these categories? No, it won't. Right? People who want to target potential home buyers or home sellers, that's who Google is most likely going to put in front of our videos. FYI, the machine is really good at doing that, but that's what this is here for. If you wanted to block a specific category for whatever reason, you could come in here and do it. The general categories, there's 500 of them for goodness sake, right? Apparel, all this other stuff. I'm not touching any of that, but if I wanted to, I could. Okay. Because again, the ads that I see on my channel are typically geared towards home buyers or homeowners. So I don't mess with that. I let Google do its best work there. It is smarter than I am. They pay a lot of people a lot of money to know who's watching, who will leave a channel, if they're seeing too many ads, those types of things. So I just let them do their thing. Okay, permissions. Permissions are where you're able to go in and let somebody else come in and manage your channel. And for those of you who have editors or designers or a moderator, someone who would literally can come in and do comments for you on your behalf, or a partner, right? Someone else who can upload. This is where you give those permissions. Okay. Now they have to have a Google account. This is important to note. They have to have a Google account, and that's so Google can make sure that they are in control of their machine. Remember, this is not our platform. Right? They pay us to be on it, but it's not ours. So just keep that in mind. If somebody's got a Hotmail account, they're going to have to get a Google account in order to manage that. Okay. And you can manage permissions in there accordingly. You can make them an administrator. You can make them an editor. You can make them a moderator. All right. It gives you a few different options. All right. And for those of you who have a team backing you up, that's an important thing. Right. So our graphic designer has access to that. Our copywriter has access to that. Our editors have access to that. And our flight controller, that's the person who coordinates everything for us on the back end. And forgive me, let me slow down. You don't have to have any of those people to do this. I just want to share with you, for those of you who are more advanced, this is where this happens. If you've got a team, if you've got an assistant, this is how you can let them in. Okay. So you have control over the level of control that they'll have on the back end. That's important to know. Okay. Community, automated filters for communities. Again, you can put a moderator in here for someone who you want to be able to do community posts. Let's say you don't want them in control of your YouTube channel at all, but you would like your assistant to be able to go in and communicate with your community. Okay. So that's people who subscribe to you. Remember that. right? So you can actually go in here, put their information in there. You got standard moderator, you got approved users. That's another one. And this is where you can ban members, by the way, hidden users. So these people can no longer comment on my channel or on a live stream. And for the first year and a half, I didn't have to do this to anybody. But as the time has gone along, there are people who just come in and they'll just say wild stuff. I don't know if it's bots. I don't know if it's real people. But at the end of the day, they will just say wild stuff. And ultimately, you have to make a decision at some point. I did. 4 people are hidden from my channel. They can't see it. All right. So just FYI, you may have to do that at some point. Eric, do you have any?
I do. I have probably 5 or 6. Just trolls that just like, will not let up.
And I don't mind, and this is a personal thing, y'all. Like, I don't mind people trolling or disagreeing with me. That's not it. But like people, like some of these people have literally said like horrifying stuff. And it was like, nope, we're done with that. You get to that. Like, I don't mind you saying that, like, I am not a good person because I'm a real estate agent, or, we're all whatever. That's fine. Doesn't hurt my feelings. People say that all the time. When we start coming in, like threatening people and stuff, like, you got to make decisions. So don't let people like that live in your community. It will ruin it. Remember, you're working hard to build an audience, and your audience is the asset. Okay. That is the compounding asset of video. So make sure that you're mindful of that. It's not disagreements. It's when people go over, right? When they're out of control. You can report them to YouTube. I don't need to. Just get rid of it. We're all done with that, right? All right. Live redirects allow other creators to send viewers to any of your live streams or premieres. We haven't done this. We haven't used this. You can see it's unchecked, but I actually think it's a really good thing. So like Eric technically could send viewers to my channel. If you were doing collab, this is a great opportunity to click that and work together. All right. So just something in there. If it's disabled, you get to fill that out. Blocked words. I'm not going to scroll and show you that because I think YouTube's, they might, I don't know, the video might get flagged, but underneath here, you have blocked words. And I know you can't see it here, but that's what this says right here. Okay. Y'all put the words that you don't want people ever commenting on your channel in there. YouTube does a really good job of filtering that. There, I'm gonna show you. There's another filter where you can kind of do that. It says flag inappropriate comments. I'm gonna move fast, see if we can get past it. Okay. Let me get to it. Here it is. When you go to the next tab over in defaults, it shows you comments on your channel. Yes, they're on. Messages in your live chat. Hold potentially inappropriate chat messages. This is exactly one of those places, but the machine's not perfect on that. Okay, that's how those people ended up getting banned, those from the live streams. But you can put words in there that people are not allowed to use. Put all of the vulgar terms that you don't ever want to see in any comment in that section. Okay, that's the easiest way I can explain that. All right, channel guidelines. Okay, so set the tone for conversation on your channel with guidelines. Add up to 3 guidelines for people to acknowledge before they comment or participate in a live or chat. So again, this is what do you want people to see? Right. So in here, I just said, if you're interested in all things Tampa Bay, welcome. Glad you're here. Second thing is no self-promotion or spam. So again, I'm just calling it out. Be civil and respectful. And then your questions are welcome. That's what they like when they go to chat on your live stream the very first time, they have to agree to those things. Okay. It's like getting into a Facebook group. You have the same thing set up there. Okay. And I'm going really fast here, so forgive me, y'all. Let me slow down a little bit. Is this helpful to everyone so far? I know we're cooking, but it's recorded, it's documented, it's free on the web. All right, you'll be able to go back to this, stack it up next to your channel, and build it in real time. Okay, if it's helpful, please, please, please let me know. All right, please let me know. All right, we got some comments in there too. Just want to make sure they're all talking to each other. Mia's with us. Hello, Mia. Hello, Diane. You guys are awesome. Hey, Megan, I know you're with us too. Otis is in the house. Thank you guys. Cool. Megan says good on the back end stuff. Excellent. We'll keep going here. Next, this is something that I remember getting the invite to this. It lives here now, but initially when they rolled this out, it was like a survey. And I don't know about you guys. I'm not a huge survey fan, but what I recognized was that YouTube was trying to recognize who their minority creators were. And at that point, they were giving priority to quote unquote minorities. And I say quote unquote just because like they're categories are categories. I don't know what category works for them, right? Like what doesn't. I'm not the one building the machine, but I filled it out, right? Who am I? Right. So I'm a Mexican American. I know the Latin question is going to be on there, y'all. So like it is an advantage to me, right? If that's what they're looking for. So again, they don't tell you what they're going to do with it outside of, hey, we're looking for demographics so we can understand who our creators are so we can serve you better. And it'll get into that. That's exactly what it says. Help us better understand the demographic and the identity. But fill this out if you feel called to do it. If you don't have to. I didn't see anywhere in there where it was like, it's a penalty box if you don't do this. Right. And the thing about YouTube is I love YouTube because it is all creators are at ground level when we start. And he or she who provides the best content to their ideal viewer is the person who's going to win. And the cool part is I'm not in competition with Eric. I'm not in competition with the other guys here in Tampa because I have my ideal client and they're going to resonate with me, not necessarily the other guy. They may get value, but they make a personal connection with you. That's why they end up reaching out. So I would encourage you to fill this out so they understand who you are. There may be a lift and advantage to your channel. I don't control those things, but do it. It's here. They want you to use it. And the thing I really want to push on this when we talk about this specifically is if YouTube gives you a new feature to use, it's probably a good idea to use it. It's probably a good idea. They're testing. They want to see how people respond to it. And anybody who's an early adopter, remember what happened to Reels on Instagram? Right? Like you got in that game earlier, you're getting 20,000 views on every video. Same thing with TikTok. So if you see a new feature on YouTube, don't be afraid to experiment with it. Okay. Don't be afraid to experiment with it. All right. And last but not least, agreements. When you start doing things like getting paid, you're going to have to get into these agreements with YouTube. Hey, I agree to not misrepresent information. I agree to not talk about politics when I said I wasn't talking about politics. I agree to not talk about unsavory subjects when I said I wasn't. Okay. And that's important to note because when you go to monetize, meaning that you're going to get paid, YouTube asks us before every video we launch, right, Eric?
Yep.
Right. It says, are there anything in here, alcohol, children, what like sexual, they talk about all kinds of stuff, right? Is there anything in here that will prohibit any advertiser from wanting to promote it on your channel? And you have to agree to those terms. So these agreements are in here. So it's giving you the base terms, what you can and cannot do. I'm not going to get in the weeds here, but just know you're going to have to make agreements with YouTube. And the reason is because you don't own the platform. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense to everybody. Chantel says, we don't have creator diagnostics. Yeah. Again, Chantel, let me get to that question specifically because this is a good one. Why don't here's what I'll say. I don't see the back end of everybody's YouTube channel. And I remember when I was running Facebook ads as an agency, different people had different like user interfaces on the back end of Facebook because Facebook was testing things all the time. And YouTube tests things all the time as well. And depending on where you are, subscriber base, views, those types of things, they open up these new features to you as you gain more subscribers, more views, and more watch time. I know that as a fact, but I also am not aware of all of the other things that they're testing. They're constantly testing, designing new features, trying them out with specific demographics or specific creator types, right? Hey, we're making videos for this. I assure you that people making stuff about cars probably has some sort of different feature that Eric and I don't. This is a very sophisticated engine. Okay, so just sharing that with you publicly. You guys, as you get more subscribers, it's going to unlock things. And that's why I'm not getting in the weeds with analytics today, because when we show you our analytics, it looks different than a new person, a new channel. We have access to far more information, and that happened because we hit new thresholds. I think when we get to 100,000, you're going to get a whole nother set of analytics that we didn't have access to before. So keep that in mind. Keep growing your channel. Focus on serving your client, your ideal client. Focus on getting appointments, right? The ultimate thing is you just need to make good videos for the people you're trying to serve. The machine will take care of the rest. I promise you. This is how to optimize your real estate channel. Okay. The way that we just showed you, this may change. Heck, it might change tomorrow. Right? It might change. Eric and I we don't control it. We're here. YouTube rewards us for making content for the people we said we were making content for. That is the only thing you need to understand. Right? If you say I'm making content for X and then you make it for Y, it's not going to pull those people to you. And the people aren't going to watch. And they're most certainly not going to reach out. So this is the focus. Hopefully that helps everybody. Let me close that out. Awesome. So we went through so much information today, right? So much info when we're looking at this in entirety here. So let me get back to what we're talking about here. So again, customization tab that allows us to start on the front end with the profile. We got the home tab, which allows us to set up how the channel feels to the viewer when they're coming in. You go down to the settings, that gets you to these categories, right? So you got general, you got your channel, upload defaults, ad categories, permissions, community, creator demographics, and then of course agreements. And this is the crux of it, y'all. It's not any more difficult than this. Okay, just set it one time and go make good content. And then what I would encourage you to do is set like a reminder probably every 3 months or every 6 months to come back in and just check that this stuff, you didn't get something new added that you want to use, and they're really good about notifying you, by the way. They'll send you an email. Hey, this is available to you. Okay. YouTube is really good with communication, right, Eric? Right.
Yep.
When we get a copyright strike against us, or not strike, but a dispute against us, like we get an email right away. They notify us immediately. Hey, this is in dispute. You need to fix this. And we do. And they release it and they're great about it. We've never had any challenges with that. New features. Here's an email. Hey, we've got a new feature. We'd love you to try. You know, they'll notify you when you come into YouTube Studio as well. So all these things are available to you. My question to everybody here was this helpful for you guys today? Did you get value out of this? Right? This is the thing that everybody kind of struggles with. What we want to do is we want to give you an invite to our school community. It's absolutely free. We're not asking for anything from anyone. Okay. And inside of that school community, you'll be able to come in here with us, live in this community with other creators. We already had 125 people join us over there. And you'll be able to come in here and work in real time with other creators who are making YouTube videos in real estate. We're going to work hard to try to keep all the riffraff out of this group. Okay. In here, you can go to the classroom and it'll show you, right, your path. Okay. So you see it here. Start. Okay. YouTube for Real Estate webinar. That's the one we did 2 weeks ago. When you click on this, you'll find the link that'll take you right to it. That live training is on YouTube. Okay. But this is a curated experience for you so you can see it. If you need editing service, our editing team's there. I'm not here to sell you on it, but it's available to you if you need it. Okay. The channel Jumpstart, this is the one we're working on today. Once this recording is done, we'll upload it in here. You guys will have access to that forever. You can go back and watch how to set up your channel properly. Okay. The next training that we're going to be doing with this community, just so everybody knows, is your first 5 videos. What videos do you need to make? And there's a dirty little secret that I'm going to tell you about these 5 videos on that training. So make sure that you show up for that because I think you'll be fascinated when you see that. We're going to get into lead generations and systems behind that. Eric is the king of systems, man. He's got it all day. And then I'm going to show you guys how to come up with video ideas on demand. This is the path for the foreseeable future. And as you noticed, none of that is paid. Okay. The only thing in there that you have to pay for is editing services if you so choose to use them, FYI. But again, that's not we don't need to sell that to you. If you want it, it's available to you. But learning how to do this is the most important thing. You can just pull out your phone, scan that, and that'll take you right to the school community. That's the first thing. The second thing I want to invite you guys to do is please share this out with other real estate agents who you know want to get in the game with YouTube, right? This is all free. We're doing this. I am a teacher by nature. I love teaching. I want to leave a legacy in real estate that goes beyond me. And what I know is for every video we make, we get paid. Okay, y'all, we make really good money for those videos. Think about over $1.2 million in commission. I made 274 videos. Okay, you do the math. It's way better than picking up the phone and cold calling people for me. Okay, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that business, but you can do it too. And what I know is if Eric and I show you what we do, you can do it as well. And I want that to be my legacy. I want YouTube for real estate agents to be the #1 resource, the definitive resource, if you will, for real estate professionals to learn how to go out and acquire clients through YouTube. And that's what it's there for. Okay. I want it to live beyond me, just like our videos can. I want it to make an impact in your life that blows your mind and changes your family's world. And the only way we're going to get there is by you guys sharing this out. Share this content, right? You're on YouTube with us. Share the school group. It is free. Like I said, we'll do our best to limit it. The thing I'm going to ask for you guys for help is if you get in that group and people start spamming you, please let us know, because there's going to be an absolute zero tolerance when it comes to YouTube for real estate community. We're in there to serve. We're in there to serve. So hopefully that was helpful. Did y'all get value out of this today? Let me know. Thumbs up, hit the like button, y'all. Make sure you're subscribing to the channel too. But man, I'm grateful to spend time with y'all. Happy that you were able to get in here. Make sure that you look for, oh, last but not least on that, Eric, the calendar. So as you see today inside of here, if you go into the school community, you can see the calendar. There's a cool little feature on the right-hand side here. You can do a list view. You don't see the thumbnail anymore, but there'll be a thumbnail here for the event if you prefer a list view. I do. When that next training gets scheduled, which I think will be the 18th, don't quote me on that. Look for it inside of the group. Okay, you'll get notified, and that's going to be your first 5 videos. That's what we're working on there. So don't miss that, y'all. I'm going to show you what you need to do and how to launch them. It's not just about the videos that you make, it's how you launch the videos. And those are the 2 things, the major things that you're going to get out of that training. So make sure you're back for that one. Any questions before we roll out of here? We've got a 1 o'clock training today with our real estate content club community. I'm excited for that, Eric. Fit Dad John's going to be on there showing how he went from 0 to 35,000 subscribers on Instagram in 12 months. All organically. So I'm super excited to share that with the community. But y'all, do you have questions about setup? I can go back to anything that you saw. I've got about 12 more minutes that I can spend with you guys before I have to jump off and prepare for that other call. Just let me know in the chat. If not, then we'll go ahead and wrap it up. But you got us now. Feel free to ask questions. I know we're on a little bit of a delay, so make sure we give it appropriate. Eric, any final words while they're typing questions or not?
Yeah, no, that was great. You know, anybody, this is a common question we get all the time, you know, is how do I set up my channel? And, you know, we went through it. There was a lot to unpack. You know, we went into more detail than you really need to, you know, really worry about. And we wanted to give a full breakdown because we don't want any stone being unturned, you know, with your questions. But you really need to worry about, you know, your profile picture, your banner, you know, you're about where you're directing them from a link perspective, whether they're registering, you know, on your website or they're scheduling a Zoom call with you. And then each of the videos is really standalone, right? So make sure you get your tags in there. Make sure you have, you know, your tags on your channel, right? So you're discoverable. Lets YouTube know what keywords are they looking for, right? So your channel can come up in these searches, right? Remember, YouTube is one of the largest search engines, #2 search engine in the whole entire world. Is it #1 now? Did it beat Google?
It's still #2.
So still #2. Okay.
Yeah.
But Google owns it anyways. All right. So there no excuses. All right. And for anybody who like is kind of like me and they need to know everything laid out before they can actually jump into it, I'm telling you from an OCD perspective, like don't worry about a lot of those details, right? Just get the banner up, start making the videos, right? You could have no banner. I've literally seen channels that go live, no banner, and they're getting views and getting reach outs. There are some principles there, but you know, you don't necessarily need that. This is the correct way, but don't let that be an obstacle for you.
Great point, Eric. Great point. We've got a couple questions. Let's get into those. And thank you. Thanks for the questions, guys. Again, I'm a teacher at heart. This is what we're here to do. So we've got a few minutes. We want to knock them down. All right. So Denise says that quick question. If we set up our channel and there is a lapse before videos are posted, is that a disadvantage waiting for the next training? Absolutely not. Okay. Great question. And I did not cover that here. So thank you for asking that. Starting the channel, no disadvantage. Think of that as a bookmark. All right, y'all. And the journey of 1,000 steps begins with one, right? Right. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. That's true. So just taking action and getting yourself set up, you don't even have to have a banner. Okay, guys. Eric and I have multiple YouTube channels that are just sitting there. Bookended, the name's there. We've taken action. Why? That's our signal to ourselves that we're committing to this process. And we're trying to take action on it, right? I don't know about you guys, but time kills all deals in my world. And I know the longer I let something linger, usually the less prone I am to take action on it. So great question, Denise. Absolutely. I do want to say this, though. Here's what will hurt you, because Denise asked a great question. Setting up a channel, getting a name, putting that bookmark in place will not hurt you. Setting up the channel, posting a video, and not posting another video for a month or two, that is what you don't want to do. Okay. And I want to give clarity to this because some people may read this differently. The consistency in content is what signals to YouTube that you can be trusted. You can be trusted with their community. Okay. Your inconsistency will show up in a negative way for you and for your viewers. We're in a know, like, and trust business. And if we can't get the trust part, you're not converting into real estate business. So great question. Thank you for asking about that, Denise. All right. Another one here. Diane, Miss Needle, good afternoon. She says, oh man, advice on the face. We have our faces, but thinking eyes are important. Visually, should we have bigger face photo? Are we talking about your icon, your thumbnail, your banner? I'm not quite sure. You're gonna have to give me a little bit more specific there, Diane. Maybe she has that underneath there. No, she doesn't. Diane, I'd like to know a little bit more. What I'll say is this: when it comes to your photos, you want to make sure that you're easily recognizable. Your thumbnail. Oh yeah, thumbnail training is an advanced thing that we're not going to get into today, because she did respond to this. She said yes, thumbnails. We're not getting in that today. That's a whole training unto itself. We're going to tear those things apart. I'm going to show you guys best practices. Absolutely. And that is covered in our first one as well, Diane. So if you go back to the classroom inside of school and go to that first training, we do cover a section of there where we talk about it, but we're going to do a whole training specifically on that. Okay. So just FYI, great question. Okay. Let me see here else. Diane's got a whole bunch of questions. All right. Recommendations on how to repurpose some of my existing YouTube content today. If you have already published content that you're proud of, number one. Number two, that actually performed, take that content and have an editor cut it up for short form. Are there snippets that you can take and use in your social media? That's a great way to do it. Can you email that out to your database? Is it not the whole database? Maybe it's for sellers specifically. Do you have your system tagged that way? These are all my mind's coming to like, how would you use that? Okay. So I love that. May I know how to add this calendar to my company calendar as a reminder? When you go into the classroom, or the calendar specifically, right, Eric? If we go into the classroom, the event tab pops up. You'll see it here. So it's got the thumbnail. You can see the StreamYard watch thing. We're going to direct you guys to YouTube moving forward. It won't be in StreamYard, FYI, because we want this to be public. And then underneath there, you can just hit this add to calendar feature, and then it'll give you Google or Apple. So that's how you would do that, Diane. Hopefully that's helpful. Go back to, got that on screen. Okay, who else? Diane's got all the questions today. I started another channel with nothing, so I just could have a new name. Wrong move. I I think I'm going to need more specifics on that. You started a new channel with nothing. So I think what I'm hearing you say is there's no content on there. And can you change the name? Sure. Again, your audience is going to be confused because there isn't one. If that was your question, Diane, hopefully that helps you. All right. All right. Denise says, you can do multiple channels with one account. Yes, one email. So the way that Google operates is the account is tied to the email. The email is the user. Is that the best way to describe that, Eric?
Well, you can have the email and you can have multiple channels under one email.
Right, which is what she's asking. But the user is that's the ID number for YouTube.
Yep.
Meaning like that's the one email. You don't have to have a different email account. What Eric is saying for every single channel, you can have one email, and I don't know that there's a limit on how many YouTube channels there. This probably is, but
yeah, you're going to do what's called a brand account underneath the main account. You always have to have the one Gmail account to it. So like when you start, like for mine, for example, like I started with my personal email, and there's a channel that's not the channel that I run today. There's a channel out there called Eric Meldrum, right? There's nothing on it. It's just the parent account, but you do a brand account underneath that, and you can make as many brand accounts as you want.
Got it. Perfect. Good question. You guys got good questions. And these are a little off topic for today, but that's totally fine. Again, this is setup related. So I think that's valuable. So thank you for asking the question. Diane says, sorry, I meant for my little profile pic. Yeah, absolutely. Diane, get, again, clarity. How can you be congruent to the viewer? Right. And listen, there are people who have just straight icons on their channel. That's fine too. Again, I'm not here to tell anybody how to run it. I just know the principles behind human psychology, right? If I see Diane this way here and I see her this way over there, I am most likely to trust what Diane is telling me because she keeps saying the same thing over and over again. She's not showing up as this here and showing up as that there. Right. And this is nuanced what I'm saying, but understand, y'all, it matters. Right. That's like the whole thing of people having like business Instagram accounts that are completely separate of their personal life. And I know this can feel like it's off topic, but it's not. You are who you are. You are who you are. And giving a generic, there was a study. I'm going to share it with you guys. If you're in our Real Estate All Day Facebook group, which is totally free also, by the way, like I feel like I'm giving too many people different things. If you're in a Real Estate All Day Facebook group, I'm going to upload. Zillow did a buyer and seller report that is very similar to the one that NAR does annually. And I believe on that report, it said 47%. Oh, let me track it down. This is going to drive me nuts now. Hate doing stuff on the fly and not being prepared. Bear with me. I got you. Housing trends. It said, let me pull this up specifically because I put it into ChatGPT and I asked it to summarize for me. I read through the whole thing. It's all graphics. It's beautiful. But there was something in here that caught my eye. Social media. 44% of prospects preferred agents active on social media, especially among younger demographics like millennials. Now, for those of you who are like, well, I only serve seniors. Okay, I understand. But almost 50% right, of people who want to purchase a home expect us to be online. Right? So why not show up the same across the board? And this is why I'm sharing this with you. I know I'm going deep on this, but like I see it all the time, right? You're like, try to be one person over here. You're like generic Jane, if you will, or generic Joe. And then over here, like you're all personality. And like people are like, who is this? I'm telling you right now, you don't know that it costs you business, but that's what's referred to as opportunity cost, which is very hard to measure. But I assure you it happens because you can listen to people and they'll say it, right? And it's not about being two-faced. It's just like, who is this person really? I can't know you if I don't trust you. And if you're different all over the place, it's hard to gain trust. So hopefully that makes sense. It's pretty in the weeds there, but I think it's valuable. Okay. What do you got here? I have a channel named I Am Needle in the Needle group. This house houses all my videos. I created another channel called Living in Boston Suburbs. Okay. Wondering if I should change the name of the original channel. So we're back in the weeds on this. Remember what I said? Like, it's not the most important thing. What is important, Diane, is that the content you make for each one of those channels or one channel is made for one viewer. So I want to get back to this. I'm never going to not say this to you guys. You cannot try to make a channel that is designed to attract sellers and attract buyers. They are two different people. And I know what people will say, well, aren't most buyers sellers? Yes. But the content that they're consuming or searching or trying to get educated on, which remember, that's what YouTube is going to be specific to whatever they typed or whatever they watch. And they're not going to bounce back and forth. And people have tried this, right? Eric asked Ken Posick this specifically. Right? What was the question, Eric? What was the response?
Well, the question was, do your listing videos or local content live on your living in brand, right? Which is helping people relocate from different areas into their Orlando area. And he was very definitive about it. He's like, anytime we try to launch a local piece of content of news, just strictly dedicated to that on our Ken Posick channel, which is geared towards buyers relocating in, it is confusing YouTube's algorithms, and otherwise put, the analytics on it are very poor, right? The video does not perform. And then in turn, the next few videos don't perform well because now the channel is kind of confused of like, who are you making this content for?
Yep.
All right. So you're confusing viewers, when you try to do that. The Diane Needle group, leave that alone. Keep posting your YouTube, your listing videos there. Keep that as your team brand. You want to do more stuff over there with, seller information, local. This is my local news. This is my local listings, all things here in, the Boston area. Living in Boston suburbs, that is your buyer funnel. Okay, that's the best way to think about it. That is your channel that you want to go attract buyers to. Okay? Keep those completely separate. Yep. And make content specifically for each of those channels.
Yep. And listen, last on this before I shut it down, and then we got to get ready for our next training because we got a guest coming. I'm super excited for that. The last thing on this is like, guys, you don't have to make videos every week. Okay, that's the one thing I want to make sure that I do share with everybody. I would encourage you to, the level of consistency and the speed at which you're going to grow. Because remember, your first videos are never great. And if they are, you waited too long, right? But the speed at which you'll grow and develop will happen much, much faster. It's like ripping off the Band-Aid. But if you decide that you can only do 2 a month, great. Set your schedule and run it. But don't get off that schedule. Meaning, if you want to go weekly later, great. But don't get in there and 2 videos the first month, no videos the second month, no videos the third, 1 video the fourth. You're not going to build an audience. I'm not going to trust you. Right? You're inconsistent. You're not there. You randomly show up. Content might be great, but like, I'm not getting enough. I need to build a relationship with you. So my encouragement is whatever that cadence is going to be, the frequency is what we refer to that. How many times are you going to publish every month? Whatever that's going to be, set it. Do not deviate from that plan unless you are dying, literally. Right? There has been I think I've missed 2. And one of them was because of the death of my mother. And the other one was because we had a hurricane. And I'm not even sure if I missed that one. Right? So do it. And I built an audience at this point where they're forgiving, but especially in the first year, do not get off of it. All right, Eric, we need to wrap up. Guys, thank you so much for spending time with us today. And again, my ask is if you get value out of this, you share this with your peers, right? There's nothing here. We're here to serve. We want to pour into other people's lives. I want to see you guys win. I want to see you win with YouTube. There are other areas where you can go and get trainings on this. That's totally fine. But we're here to talk about real estate and help real estate professionals win with YouTube. So again, look out for that next training. We're going to be doing your first 5 videos. We're going to get in the weeds on how to set those videos up correctly, the content you need to make, and then we're going to get rock and rolling. Any final words before we wrap up, Eric?
No, we'll see you on the next one.
Awesome. All right, y'all. You guys have a blessed day. Thanks for spending time with us. We'll see you on the next side. Later.